live on the YouTube channel, stream whatnot.
Cool. I feel like I should be in the brewery instead of in my living room, but that's just where I am right now.
I'm totally cheating because I'm just in my basement, as you can tell. If I hold my hands thusly, you can see there it is. There's
Oh
the
yeah.
green screen behind me.
Yep,
If
yep.
I do something like kind of
hmm
yeah, like I said, I play around with a video, but it's theoretically a podcast. So all the delightful videos is for other people. Can I have a? Oh, come on! Ian is asking for the link now. Oh, oh, just did that. Um, before I go fully live, might as well get him in here. He's the one who drove all the way. The that was my only other question is: would you like
hmm
to be introduced as the owner or slash co-owner?
Yep. Yeah, I guess that's what I am.
Okay,
Yeah, owner is fine.
uh,
I guess I co-own it with my husband.
we'll go with co-owner. If you
But
know,
as he says, I run the show.
or someone is partly in charge.
Yes.
Uh, do I wait 13 seconds for Ian to get in here? Do I just start and then we'll add him live as we? I'll edit him in later. Oh, he's still very mad. I can hear him crying upstairs. He's not feeling very
I
well.
can't, so that's good.
Yeah, well, microphone's not that good, so there's one side to it. So would yeah, that's often part of the conversation as well. But if there's an order to these three, because we went with the Lazy Lager, the Gut View Amber, and the is it Lewis Wit
Louis?
beer?
Yeah, Louis.
The Louis Wit beer.
hmm
Oh, Vit beer, I guess.
Then the wheat beer, if you want to finish with the amber, that's totally okay.
Oh my.
The amber, the only thing is the amber was our first ever beer, so I don't know if you want to start with that one or finish with that one.
That's the question. Do you go oldest to newest then? We do amber
Oh,
and use amber lager wit beer maybe.
yeah, it'll be kind of the opposite direction for color, but or I guess you're saying strength.
We usually
Yeah,
go
they're all
strength just as that's the pattern, but
yeah, they're all fairly low, so I don't think it matters too much.
Ian, okay, Ian's British, so he gives me a hard time when I say that a 5% beer is low. He says, "No, that's medium," and I said, "No, man, no,
Yeah,
gotta tell you."
kind of average, I guess, around here.
Yep, I often say, I just say, "Well, it's a 5. Okay, fine. That's benchmark." Anyway, well, I should get going, and then that way, when Ian joins, then because there's more complicated things that have to happen tonight, so I might need to get Ian to end everything out, and I have to go rescue my son from screaming at my wife.
hmm
Anyway,
Been there. I know what it's like.
oh, it's just, I don't know what I'm thinking of when I'm trying to start things like that. But, however, I am Ross, and I am joined by Erin Norman, who's the co-owner of Lazy Bear Brewing, and also my co-host Ian. And together, as I quickly add Ian to the call, we are attempting to drink Nova Scotia dry. There. Managed to get the intro in there. No harm done, no foul. And meantime, Ian will slowly make his way in here. Then he'll talk about the fact that he can't always connect really easily. He may even be dressed up in theatrical makeup, which is my other favorite part of this.
None of those are true. I'm not going to mention the fact that I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm not going to mention it.
Oh, you're not?
No reference is going to be made to the fact that I'm still in ghost gear. None of that stuff at all.
All right, that's fair. Good, because we've started.
Good.
But
Good.
we've got we've got our three here, but we also get, because we have never talked to Erin before. We have not talked to a representative of Lazy Bear Brewing. I've read the quick little synopsis, but I believe Lazy Bear, you've been Lazy Bear Brewing has been in existence since, was it 2016?
Yeah, I think we're in our 8th year now, going on 9. So we've been around for a little while. We're quite elusive up here in Smith Cove.
You say elusive, and it really strange. I was editing a video earlier today where I tell the story of when my wife and I we would go on drives during the pandemic. So this would have been about 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and I did usually do the thing whenever we get a little bit further away from home, and then I zoom out on the county and I say, find me some breweries, and it says here's the Annapolis Brewing Company, here's well, Roofhound was a little further up, and then nothing, almost nothing for a while, and then it said Lazy Bear what is this? And I'm showing it, and she says, I don't know, I've never heard it before, and I said, what's Smith's Cove? And we don't even know, we don't usually go quite that far down, but when you go that way, you're either going to Digby, sometimes I'm going to
Right.
Clare, you're going to Annapolis Royal. But I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad that I do these searches, and I found it, and we stopped in, we had the pizza, it was wonderful, it was such a great afternoon, and
Great.
we I just picked up a number of beers as well as my pint glass, and
Nice.
we have enjoyed everything. Everything that we've got there. I was having a quick look. I keep all of our data and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Seven beers, that we have had from Lazy Bear with an average score of 9.5 out of 10.
Ooh, that's
Jesus.
exciting.
So I think that's one of the highest
Thank
ones
you.
so far. But again, it's really nice to me, and I have to say, when I was there, and I asked, I said, listen, is there a business card that I could get in touch with the brewer somehow? And they said, oh, she's out in the van right now. And my mind, I got so excited. I get to talk to a woman brewer because it's so, I want to say rare-ish. It's
Yeah, it's not as
rare-ish.
common. Right.
But I noticed that you are not listed as the head brewer. That's Noah.
Yes, yeah. So I guess Noah's been with us for a couple years now. I don't have time to brew every day. He does, so we have him brew all the beer. He's also our packager extraordinaire. He does all of our packaging as well.
Hmm.
He is pretty amazing. But when we started, I was there all my recipes. I've spent many hours, late nights in the brewery.
So that was the question. So you were the originator of all of these, and you've got a head brewer now that you either
Yeah,
you speak with and work with,
yeah,
but they're also your
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so I was originally a home brewer. I lived in Dartmouth. I did my master's in food science. That's where my background in beer comes from. Lots of beer brewing on my backyard in Dartmouth. And my friend and I, we did a lot of beer. We made more beer than we drank. We just can only drink so much, but we gave a lot of it away. And when my husband got a job up here, that's kind of was so I said I'd follow and see what we could do, and we found this property, and it just kind of screamed brewery.
Hmm.
It was just kind of a shell of a barn. We finished it up to be the brewery, and added little bits and pieces over time. Originally, we weren't set up for anybody to come visit. It was just kind of a manufacturing place, and we distributed locally. And then gradually, the NSLC eased up some of its restrictions on beverages in the brewery, so
Mm.
we could have a tap room, and that was a pretty key point. So we realized, well, we might need to have like seating or places for people to come sit and drink. So
Chairs
we
and
added
whatnot.
the porch, and we added the picnic tables. We did some landscaping. We added the gazebo, and then we struggled one year with food vendors. We had some people that were kind of regulars that would pop up every week. So then we uh,
Uh-oh, am I frozen? Oh, it might
truck
be.
that was for sale
Oh,
and
there we go.
bought a pizza truck. And then I learned how to do wood-fired pizzas.
And that's in an Airstream, is it not?
It no, it's oh, I don't remember what the brand name is of the trailer. It's like a 25-foot food truck, I guess.
Oh,
Food
okay.
trailer.
Always looked to me like an
Yeah.
Airstream trailer, but maybe I don't know anything.
No, it's more square. It's yeah, I can't think of the brand name of the trailer, but it's a common food truck trailer.
Can I ask where the name came from?
Lazy Bear. I think it's kind of just our proximity to Bear River. We can see Bear Island in the winter, which is when we kind of arrived here. So we're kind of paying homage to that area. And I think the lazy part came from Andy added that. He's like, we're gonna brew beer kind of the slow, traditional way. We're anything but lazy. I think it's the largest oxymoron there is.
Because it's brain-wise, it's a slightly negative word, I guess, when you look at it. But I know
Maybe. Yeah.
we've talked to a couple of breweries sometimes, and we've talked about the positive here, the naming structures. But everyone's,
Yeah.
if you, I've always felt like if you're selling beer to anyone, they couldn't care less if you called it Pickled Onion Brewery or
It's
something.
true, yeah. I don't know, the name, it just kind of stuck one day, and that's kind of what we went with.
It's usually an accidental story. I
Yeah.
have spent a bit of time coming in before here trying to find a bit of information on each of the beers that we have tonight. But
Right.
first
I'm
up,
not very good at my internet keeping up skills, so our website's kind of been on hiatus all summer because I haven't had time to update any of it.
I was trying to find some descriptions, but there is a quick description on here. But this is the Gut View Amber, which again I thought it meant it was like a you view with your gut kind of thing, and I thought, oh, okay. But then I forgot that is the Digby Gut.
Digby Gut, and we have we have a spectacular view of the Digby Gut from our property here. And it was our first beer that we ever brewed.
And that's why we're having it first. But this is not the original can, because I think we might still have. Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
Ian's,
yeah, there
we've
it
got the
is.
original one.
Yes, we rebranded a lot of our cans this year.
But I do love
So
the art style on there.
thank you. That is a hand-drawn map by me, colored with my kids' pencil crayons.
Aw.
And then I photoshopped in the rest of the names and
That's
finished
great.
her up.
And it
Erin, pleased to meet you, by the way.
Yes, nice to meet you too, Ian.
The cans were all like this, were they not? Until
Yes,
over the last year. Yeah.
that's right. We kind of had each can had a different color. And I
Different
think
color.
and our thing was that we wanted the name of the beer to be very legible, so people didn't have to guess what they were coming in to buy. We still kept that um, same style with the new cans. We just went with a little bit more colorful artwork. So we wanted people to be like, yeah, I'm gonna drink the blue can or the brown can or whatever. But I get bored quite easily, so I thought, well, it's time to change things up.
How many people have looked at your logo, your bear, and not realised? Because it took us a little while. Actually, I remember a couple of years
It took
ago.
you. No, don't drag me into this. I knew what it was immediately. We've had this conversation.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's keg that is rolling, isn't it? But I thought it was a big
barrel.
beach.
Yeah.
A barrel, yes, it's a barrel.
Can be interpreted very.
And I thought it was like a big beach ball or something. So I was the only one.
Didn't you think it was a shield or something? You thought he was on his way rolling off to join the Foreign Legion?
It's actually based on a real bear rolling a barrel. So it's based on a photograph that we saw. We contacted the photographer and asked them if we could base our logo on this photograph that he had of a bear rolling a barrel, and he said sure.
Oh wow!
Then Andy drew the logo.
Is it a local bear? Is it?
No, I believe it might be a Russian bear. Or Scandinavian. I can't quite remember where it was taken. It's somewhere, I would say, Scandinavian or Russian.
Northern Hemisphere.
Well, then the bear should be balancing on the barrel then, and with a bicycle.
Yes.
If that's the case.
But
I don't know what this beer is going to be like. But the fact that this is white, a lot older than yours, Ross. Because I mean, I bought 2 of those, but I thought, well, I might as well just drink this one. And see how it is. What do you think? It's probably over a year old. I'm gonna give it a go.
Did you store it in the fridge? It should be okay.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, should be fine. We've had some recent explosions. Thankfully, this wasn't one of them.
It happens when you keep things too long. But the only descriptor on the side does say English style amber ale, and it's actually in the about section. The first beer, Gut View Amber, was based on a beer you'd enjoyed in Scotland.
Correct.
Which was an easy drinking brown ale, but
Yeah.
you're sure the gut view tastes nothing like it, but that's where the idea came from. So a brown to an
Yeah, I do
amber?
think so. And I do remember the name of the beer we had in Scotland. It was called Thirsty Ferret.
Oh, I've had that.
Yeah, it probably tastes nothing like it.
Ooh.
Well, it didn't explode. Although it was bowing a little bit at the top, so I was wondering.
I feel like you might be this is one of our quality control test batches over here.
Oh, are yours fresh out of the fridge? I took mine out about an hour and a half ago.
Little before then. So mine are comfortably not crispy ice cold, but we talk about that every week where I feel like you're not tasting the beer at absolute ice cold. So I'm happy to have it out of the fridge a little longer and be closer to slightly warmed it up. But yep, that's it. I color wise, I'd say it's somewhere between an amber and a brown. It's quite.
Talking of go straight into some science here. I was wondering only the other day. I said to Rebecca, because of course there's this whole joke that sort of North Americans point the finger at Brits and say, "Oh, your beer's warm, we don't like it." And of course, it's not warm; it's just served. Different ales should be served at different temperatures, of course. But we do get a bit of a ribbing for the fact that we have warm beer in the UK. But I thought to myself, I wonder if you could literally warm your beer. I wonder how that would taste. If, like, you can have like a mulled wine or a mulled cider. If I were to put a nice, thick, rich stout or a porter, or hey, even an amber, throw that in the pot and stick it on the stove and drink it as a warm beer. Have you ever tried that? Because I'm seriously considering it now.
Well, I really enjoy the stout wort when it's out fresh out of the kettle. I can't. I mean, the flavors change over the course of the fermentation, but that's one of my favorite worts to drink. Other than that, I usually end up warming my beer up in a stew.
Oh yeah,
well, mixed in food, yeah, like beer battered fries and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I think we should try it one day, Ross.
A mulled beer before.
Aye. Sorry, I interrupted. I went all. I don't know. Carry on.
All right, all right. We'll have hot beer this Christmas. I promise. We'll try that at least once, just to say we've done it. It's giving off more of a malt profile and also some sweet.
Smell it.
It smells sweet.
It smells very malty.
Very nice. Jules.
I'd say it's one of our reliable customers. A lot of our locals really like it, and it was our first beer, and we can't get rid of it. It's a staple in the brewery.
It's nice and it's impressive to hear because a lot of the breweries we do talk to, nothing is this dark. Everything is here's our 2 IPAs, our lager, and our pilsner, and I think variety.
Oh, we actually do a lot of dark beers.
But you've got a little bit of everything, and I really like that. I took when I was down trying to take a look as to what's there, and Ian even I sent you the picture. He got 6, and I looked at them and I said, wow, that's a little bit of everything. That's just kind of it's over here. Then the wit beer I'm looking forward to, and
the stout that wasn't ready yet.
Wow. We'll come back down and definitely get, because as soon as someone says Imperial Stout, we drive well out of our way to have have one of those. That was.
I'm going to open the new one actually.
How was the old one?
So, I'm just curious to compare the two.
Okay.
The only thing that's different about them, of course,
this is great. This is data that we probably don't have.
Is the temperature. Right. So, because it is, I mean, have you kept the exact same recipe, Erin? Because I know that brewers do play with things from time to time and add a little bit, and maybe beers can evolve over years, but
For sure. Yeah.
is this one
No,
stay the same?
it should be the same recipe. The only things that might have differed is the batch size. We traditionally brewed the amber on the smaller fermenter, whereas it's now in the larger fermenters. So I'm not sure if that would play an effect in the overall sensory profiles of it. However, the age may also play an effect too. I would guess that the older one may have some stale off notes to it, but
Maybe.
There's more
more head to it.
carbonated this
Oh, well, maybe.
one. Yeah, the newer one. Yes, it's holding its head better.
It reminds me of a Scotch ale. It's got that kind of like the whiskey notes to it. I would think that it tastes like something that was in an aged barrel at some point, but that could just be that sweetness that I was smelling, sort of a sweet and a malt side of things is doing that.
it definitely has never been in a barrel.
I prefer the newer one is smoother.
Mm.
For sure.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think maybe the old one. The old. I mean, I have drunk beer that's 16 years old, for goodness sake, as a homebrew. I tried that a couple of months ago. I did spit it out, but I'll try anything. But I think maybe this has slightly gone past its best, but that's my fault. This is lovely. The brand new one is.
Ian? Are you catching anything that makes it taste like it's a stronger beer than it is? I mean, it is a 5% even, but I need to come to Smith's Cove more often. If something with this much of a zip of a personality is your flagship beer, is the favorite that everyone says, oh, come in and have a gut view. Do you say a gut view or an amber? What do you order when you come in?
The color is
when
quite
people
different.
come in, they ask for a gut view. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's really quite malty for a red. Sorry, for an amber. For an amber.
See?
Yeah. Can you see there's quite a significant difference in the color as well?
They're also
I am going to drink that one.
shaped glasses.
Yeah.
The shame here is that I don't have 3 Lazy Bear glasses. So whenever I get the thematic mug, and then I've got all my other nonsense that I used to use.
Are you getting a little toffee-ish, a little sweetness, Ross?
The toffee, yes, that is the flavor of the sweet. That puts a bit more of a nose on it.
Toffee.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's what people like about it too, is that it does have it goes well with food. People enjoy it with a lot of things, but everyone says it's their dinner beer.
And at 5%, it's a nice easy thing to go with. It just it tastes it's very suspiciously alcoholic is what it tastes to me. I'm sorry, is this a 6.5? Is this a 7? What's going on here? It's very like a delicious Scotch ale, but we do love those kinds as well. That is.
Maybe I'll have to put that one on the list. I've never done a Scotch ale before, but
Oh, goodness me. Definitely put it on your list, Erin. If you decide to do one, brew one, then it's only an hour away, so I'll be driving there to pick them up. Well, I'm getting nodding from across the table. Did you get the toffee? Little notes of coffee?
Barley-ish, like
Barley?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did I
Quite malty, I found. This is the old one. No, I'm getting.
Oh, don't feed her that. Don't worry about that one.
Never go back.
I like this.
Yeah, it's nice.
Isn't it? Smooth, absolutely.
Smooth.
Oh, smooth. That's a word that I haven't heard for a little while. Smooth.
Of the ambers that I've had before, that one honestly is. I really like it, but and I'm even more impressed that it's a top seller, because that kind of slightly alcoholized kind of a Scotch, but it gives it a bit more of a complicated flavor, but it way at the back of the throat. So you sort of it's got a really nice mouthfeel, and then at the back of the throat, then it kind of hits you with this interesting kind of I've got body and I've got spice. Oh dear, and it's that makes me think, does an amber have that kind of body and that kind of spice? It's a pumped up personality piece, which I like. But
I
almost
don't know if you guys asked me any questions, but it just hung up there for about a minute.
oh yeah, we lost you for just a
I
second.
apologize if I did not answer anything you guys directed.
Oh no, it's
my
okay.
way.
It's just me waxing
Okay.
poetic and just describing what I feel. I hate saying this because this beer is delicious because it's got a nice complexity to it, but I feel that most ambers I've had have been. I need a better word than boring, but they're boring. It's very classic, very smooth, very golden. It's just this nice kind of flowing. And here you go, and there's no ripples. Where this one is just it's choppy waters. Hey, let's and there's a bit of there's the sweetness, there's the toffee like Ian's talking about. There's and the malt kind of comes through, and you think, oh okay, and you almost need to. It's something to pay attention to. It's not a beer I could ignore, and I like that. You know, we like beers with a little bit of a personality. But for whenever I see something, oh, here you go, here have the amber, and I went, oh, all right. So I'm expecting to have just a lager with no bitterness. It's just going to be this smooth, golden, really easy to drink. But I have no idea what I'm trying to say, other than I don't know anything about what makes an amber. But this one is unique to me, and I like it.
Erin, why
Yes.
did you start with the amber? What so you said it was 2016. So what made you go with that one first?
That one beer we had in Scotland. I don't know why. It really stuck with us. And Andy and I, maybe mostly Andy, I don't know. He said this is the beer we need to make first. And
Okay.
yeah, it
Very-
probably isn't your most typical beer that people would start with, but
no.
For us, we're not your typical people, I guess.
The IPAs. If you're going to open up a brewery now, why not go with an IPA? But clearly, it's only been in the last sort of 5 or 6 years where IPAs have just exploded onto
Yeah.
the scene. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And we do
So
IPAs as well. They're fine. I
Mm.
enjoy them. They're not
We've got that one.
my favorite beers to brew, but
No.
we make
Favorite to
them.
drink.
So they're popular. They sell well, and that's why we make them.
I'm
you've got 2
now.
or 3, haven't you?
Yes, we
You've
do.
got 2 or 3 different ones.
Yeah, we have the Session IPA, the Bear
Yep.
Island IPA, and we do a double IPA.
Oh, how did you not pick up the double IPA? But I'm
We
now
don't-
very.
It's in a tank right now. It's not in. It's not.
Oh, that's why.
packaged.
Same with the Imperial Stout and the double
Our
IPA.
big ones and
Oh,
bottles again.
we got to come back. We got to come back and have a hot glass of wort together.
Mhm.
There we go. That'll do it. Well, now I'm really curious about the Lazy Lager, because I think is this another pretty good seller, I believe.
It is, yeah. I would say when the gut view is not around, that's probably our number one seller. They kind of it goes between amber and the lager.
German style lager, mellow and smooth. Delightful pictures of, oh, and I'm going to say this word. Okay, how do you say it? Because Ian and I go back and forth. Buoy.
I call it buoys, yeah. But I think that's because I'm Canadian.
Because apparently, boy
Yeah.
is how you're supposed to say it. And I said, well, what's the you doing then?
Tomato, tomato. Yeah.
I grew up in a fake small fishing village on the South Shore out of St. Margaret's Bay. It used to be a fishing village 900 years ago, but now it's, just a bunch of insurance salesmen who bought cottages. And everything was, this is a buoy, and look, I've got a buoy for my boat, and I've hung some buoys in this tree, and it was very, very much buoy, and I don't think I ever heard it as boy until I came to the valley.
How would your mother pronounce it?
Wrong. My parents, we've been over this, are Scottish immigrants. Literally, they stepped off the plane 2 years before I was born. So in the mid-1970s, they came across, and the first place, they didn't land in the Maritimes. The Scots didn't come to New Scotland. The Scots went to Quebec City. the Scots that couldn't speak French went to Quebec City, and then they eventually moved to New Scotland. So we've got some sort of weird, welcome to Canada, Quebec City thing, and then they eventually made it to New Scotland, where they didn't understand what anybody was saying. So how would my mother say? I think we all said buoys because that's what everyone called them.
Your mother did as a Scotswoman.
Buoy.
Interesting.
No, she says it wrong, which is the way that you say it.
Oh, okay. So she says it boy.
No matter how she pronounces things, everyone I have ever met all say that my parents have crazy accents and they can't understand them whatsoever, but they are the most vanilla, easy to understand Scottish accents I've heard in my whole life. I've told you that story a bunch of times too. Here is my pale German style lager, a mellow and smooth German style lager. Because whenever I hear a German style, I'm expecting to get some zip, to get some really interesting notes in there, just little pops of hop and bitter, just little sparkles.
Oh, and you might get that. That's just my label design, meant to fool you.
Oh, so don't believe everything you read on the can. Man, we've been doing this
Perhaps
wrong
not.
this whole time.
It's like, oh, we need to put something here. Let's just put this. We try to be as accurate as possible, but sometimes we fail.
Popular words. It's whimsical.
Mm-hmm.
Synergy.
What differentiates a German-style lager from another, in your opinion, Erin?
Well, I think we brewed it the way it was meant to be brewed. Traditionally, with just the purity law in mind. We don't add anything to it.
The Reinheitsgebot or whatever it's.
Yeah.
Yes.
With straight water, we don't alter our water at all for this.
Right.
It's just straight from the well. We have a dug well on our property, which feeds the brewery. It feeds all of our beers, all of our brewing processes in our dug well, which is pretty crazy if you know anything about dug wells.
I know because we were talking to our most recent brewer that we spoke to, and he asked for a water test before he took over,
Mm-hmm.
and they said we've never done that, and he said what? So did you test your dug well?
We test our dug well every 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so we test it every 3 months for just the routine tests, and then every year for a chemical analysis, full on. No, water chemistry is very important to me. I am a chemist after all. But for this German style lager, I don't add anything. I don't adjust anything. I just throw in the water, and that's it. So we kept it as pure as possible. Our yeast is a German derivative yeast, so again, that makes it a German style, in my opinion.
I wondered if it just came down to ingredients though. Is it just if you use a German barley and a German yeast and does that make it a German style?
It would probably definitely help towards keeping it as pure as possible, but I think we just use Canadian Pilsen for this one.
I do love German styles of most beers, so this should be good. Ian, are you all set?
I am, and I'm very excited. I just got my hooter in that and had a good sniff. And
Better than getting your snifter in that and having a good hoot.
I'm ready. Oh, you're off. It's wow. Butter beans, Ross, they're back.
But that's
Oh my God.
we often get there, but
something else in there. That's extraordinary.
Nothing lazy about that.
Nothing lazy about that. No, that's not your generic.
Woo.
That's quite
Lively.
distinct.
Lively.
So distinctive.
it is. It's lively, and it made me feel like. I mean, they have been sitting next to each other for a long time, but the lager tastes colder, and I think that's just because of the crisp. There's the zip, the carbonation, the everything that's going on in there. It actually makes it taste colder because it's hitting my my taste buds in a slightly more
Right.
Did you let that one warm up as well, or was it
They-
straight from the fridge?
Nope, they're all here but the same temperature. So yep, this has been out for a few hours, I think. But it almost feels slightly unfair to the lagers because you'd want those obviously much
Yeah,
much
I
much
think those
colder.
ones are a little bit better.
So it's
colder.
it just means that I'm getting all of the flavor in now.
Yeah. We also have a
No,
light lager that we make as well.
Okay, is that like a 3.5 or
me.
a 4?
It's 4, yeah.
That was me asking what makes a German lager any different from another nation's lager. I mean, this is as far removed from let's say, an Australian lager or even a Canadian lager as you can get. It doesn't even taste like it's in the same category. It's like
I feel it's similar to some German or Bavarian lagers that I've had before, where it has that little bit more zip, or it's got a little bit of a hoppy kick to it, or it's like a light hoppy kick, but also like a bitter back end. But certainly a lot more going on in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate lagers normally. No, that's a horrible word to use. That's a horrible word. I don't hate anything. What I was going to say was lagers used to bore me because lagers used to be so flavorless when I was growing up. Lagers were just cold, fizzy, slightly
cool. Yeah, run-of-the-mill Coors or Milwaukee's Best.
Well, not Coors for me, but it was it would have been European lagers or British lagers, and I found them so really tasteless. And Australian lagers were huge in the UK when I was growing up, the Castleman's and the Fosters, and I still find them pretty tasteless. This is so not tasteless.
No, this has got so much more going on with it. But I feel like when I was kind of coming into beer in my early 20s, it felt like lager was a second place. When you felt like all the beer, there was beer and there was lager. You say, oh, can I have a beer? And you've got all of these beers. And you say, oh, that's too much. Oh, no, just give me a lager. I don't care. And it was sort of like just where you were expecting, give me something that's predictable, that I know, that I understand. And you'd get this very basic entry level. Here is a bit of a flavor, a bit of a bitterness. This is what it's supposed to taste like if you're drinking plenty of this.
Affordable.
Lager was affordable.
Well, yeah. More affordable than that.
Oh, Rebecca used to drink just called Pilsner.
Oh yeah, in Alberta.
In Alberta, that was like her go-to. That was it. Just called Pilsner. That wasn't just the style; it was the name. It was just called Pilsner.
Yeah, we had Kokanee.
Oh, Kokanee as well. Yeah, but they were kind of boring as well, were they not?
That was the cheap stuff on tap.
Right.
Like draft was Canadian.
Right.
Canadian.
Yeah. Mm.
Old Style Pilsner is a brand of beer brewed by Molson Coors out in Alberta.
Yeah.
I recognize the label. I've seen this.
Yeah, with the little bunnies.
The little bunnies. The little rabbit. Yeah.
It does look a bit like a weird little nativity scene.
Again, I'm trying to distinguish. There is a hint of something. Is it honey? That's what it is. It's so subtle. I've got it 2 or 3 times when I put my nose to it. It is honey.
Yeah. There's definitely no honey in it.
But it's
smell. Yeah. It's just this a really subtle. Yeah. That's what it is.
Really? A little.
And I was, when it opened up, I said, "Oh, butter beans! There it is all over again." It's not. It's honey. That's what it is.
There's a tiny amount of it, but I think that's just the flavors crossing through. Sort of there's the sugars mixing, and it's giving the sugars a bit more of a body to it. I can see where it's got that to it.
Isn't this interesting though, Ross? This is the first time you've ever had a guest on. And I don't know if it's just coincidence, but Erin did say that she doesn't tend to drink as much as she brews, but she's not even sipping a bottle.
No judgment here.
Right. And I came from putting my kids to bed. I didn't have time to run and get a beer.
Oh, did you want to go? Honestly,
I closed my bedroom doors to the kids, and then I heard the ding of the phone, and that was Ross
Oh,
telling
I'm
me
sorry.
that.
No, you had plenty of time. If you want to go and get something, honestly, we can fill the space. If you want to go and grab something for yourself, please do.
No, it's quite all right.
We will
It's
not
quite all
let you go
right.
dry. But Ian, you are wrong. No, I had, it was one night, and you weren't even here, and it was the night that I was talking to Kelsey about how Annapolis Brewing Company took the recipes from what was Bad Apple Brew House, and so now Annapolis Brewing Company is doing the box
Jose.
cutter. So I was
Yes.
trying the new box cutter, but Kelsey, who is Jeff Saunders' daughter, but she also happens to be the best friend of my wife, so
Hmm.
we know them quite well. So she was on the show, and I was trying the box cutter and another IPA from the city, and Kelsey was having nothing because she does not drink, but she was just talking about the brew process and where the name came from because she'd been involved with how it all came about.
Yeah.
So,
It would be very difficult. It would be very difficult, would it not, to be a master brewer that doesn't touch a drop, and to be
Oh,
a
for sure.
completely teetotal. That would be quite extraordinary. And it
No,
would be like the
I
king.
often start my days down in the brewery at like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, tasting all the
Yeah.
beers.
It'd be like the king's taster. I'm
Mhm.
brewing, but I don't want to taste it. Just pass it on to the next person to give it a go. What do you think of that? And that person then spits it into a spittoon, so gives you a nod, and you're like, we'll go with that then, if that's okay. No, I can't imagine not wanting to try. Kelsey, is she teetotal, Ross, or was it just not drinking that evening?
um, can I say
Nice.
she's a complicated person who, depending on the
Right.
month, she's
Right.
trying to go full dry for her health.
Ah, well, good
And
for
then
her.
other times you meet her and she's had a few. So
Oh.
I'm not quite certain what the consistency is there. And I know I'm calling her out on this one, but I mean, whatever. She's in the
I don't
public eye.
Right.
Worse,
It
worse
just
things
doesn't
have been
seem
spoken.
fair that Erin should sit there with nothing while you and I taste. I mean, not that she's not familiar with her with her own beer, for goodness sake, but it just seems
Oh, it's quite all
there
right.
was definitely some honey and a tiny bit of butterbean in there, which seems to pop up for some reason in certain beers at certain times for me.
A bit of IPA, like a bit of.
A bit of yes, it's a bit of hoppy. It's a bit hoppy.
I'm so interested now in all 6 of these because both of those, the amber especially and the lager, I thought, oh, okay, well, so these are what I'm expecting, and then with a little bit of a just that little bit of a zip of a personality of a I'm going to be just a little bit plus, and I guess this explains why in our own reviews everything has been on average a 9.5 because we say yes, this is what this is, but it's whoo, because we like to start at an average. And then, okay, yeah, this is where you're going, but then does this one brew have a little bit something that lets it stand out? And so far, it's a standing out.
Uh-oh. I know
Yeah,
that sound.
I know what that sound is. What is he just throwing
I
away?
forgot what that sound is. Recognize it from a long way ago.
That's true.
I did use the word hate, and I retracted it immediately.
Oh.
I don't hate lagers, but I just find traditional lagers a bit nah, if that word is even a thing. MEH. This is in no way meh. This is a well, it's a craft lager. So you're doing what on earth you do with it, and it makes it so much more interesting than a traditional mass-produced lager.
Mm.
And I like lagers when they're not boring. We like dark lagers. I say we, it's the royal we. Ross and I, we go around together. We tend to like what one another likes. It just seems to be that way.
It's a bit like a Siskel and Siskel show, isn't it? We agree way too often.
Yeah, we don't disagree on many things, so it makes it kind of boring. Because we kind of agree on most things and disagree on most things. But Ross, do you like this lager?
It's not the best I've ever had. It's not my favorite. I love the German style. So because when
Yeah.
growing up, and everyone would have a Keats, and I would always say, "Do you have a Heineken?" And I would go that way because I think can I just a little bit more to the thing, and this reminds me of when I would move over towards the Heineken side of things.
Mm.
But I mean, again, we have a few of our favorites. So there's some lagers that are just this golden, beautiful flavor through and through, and it does not have the personality zip of a German style. So, and so far as the German style, that is part and part. That is exactly what I was expecting, and then it's got that note of personality that makes it uniquely. This is exactly what was supposed to happen.
I like it a lot. Now, the funny thing is, of course, with the wheat beer, the wit beer, the white beer.
Ah, yes.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to be Dutch or Flemish, the wit beer, so it might be kind of in the same ballpark as the German lager, I think. Would you shed some light on that, Erin?
I mean,
On the style, or just where we got where we came from with that one?
On the
Um,
style.
so the style is a wit beer. It's the Belgian style.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's I won't lay claim to this recipe. We used to do Helpbacks. I don't know if you're familiar with Helpbacks.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like woofing, but not organic farms. We used to have people come and help at the brewery during the summer. We provided room and board, and they would help out. We had some really great ones. We had some really poor ones, but that's the name of the game, I think. Anyway, we had Louis. Louis came to us from Trinidad and Tobago. He was an avid home brewer himself, and while he was here, he thought it would be fun. We all thought it would be fun to make a beer that he developed, and he came up with this wheat beer that we made once when he was here, and then we kind of wanted more of a wheat style over the summer. People were asking about it, and we're like, well, let's bring back Louis's recipe. So we named the beer after him.
That's
why.
that's where the name. Okay.
That's where the name Louis comes from our Help
Does it have the classic banana-y, clovey profile that a lot of wheat beers do? Because
I'll let you have a taste and see what you think.
What was he artistically graffiti inclined, or was this just sort of
No, that's just how it appeared in my head when I did the can. So that's Andy on the can, and I drew up the name, and I photoshopped Andy on the can.
I love how everything just kind of organically. Nah, I felt like doing this. Comes about in that way. That's
how we run the brewery a lot of the time.
it's how I approach just about everything in life, much to everyone around me's chagrin for certain.
Erin,
Yes.
while I'm pouring this, I did notice while I was at your establishment the other day, I brought my daughters in, by the way, and one of them snuck around the corner, and Noah showed her the canning process, and Morgan was absolutely astonished at how the little ring pulls went on. But anyway, that's an aside. I won't even bother with that. No, you don't. I didn't know how a can was put together either, Ross, to be honest, until I saw it. I did notice two rather strong, like 9 or 10%. And Ross, I did think, do I get 2 of these? Maybe I won't, because I'm already getting 6 of each. On a separate shelf, there were some Belgian things going on. Yes, please talk about those, because I'm drooling.
Pardon? I did cut out the last bit there.
I'm drooling at the idea because they're both extremely strong, and they're Belgian-styled doubles, are they not, or even triples?
That we bottle conditioned is a Belgian triple. It's made with a really cool yeast we bought from Escarpment Labs. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but really enjoyed making that one. And the other one beside it, the smaller bottle that we sealed in wax, is that the other one you're talking about? Yeah, so that one's 10%. It's a barley wine. Yes.
I had this conversation. I stopped in at Hilltop Hops because my daughter's down in Windsor for sports an awful lot, and so I'm in there just from proximity. And we got on the topic of, is barley wine beer, or is it just spiritually called barley wine because of how strong it is? And
Yeah.
the official answer
I
I was
think
told
that.
is it counts. It's beer.
Yes. No, it's definitely an ale. A lot of people uh, order wine at the brewery, thinking that that's wine. I was
Oh
like,
dear.
oh no, it's
How
still
does
a beer.
how does
Sorry.
that go?
Yeah, yeah, not well at all. Like,
Could
but you have wine on the shelf. I'm like, no, it's not wine.
could I
They're
have
all
a
beer.
glass of your house brown, please?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you
My
And we
if you would be
uh,
so kind.
we actually have a small vineyard on site, and we have a wine license. There's nothing really stopping us from making wine, except for the fact that I don't think I would make very good wine.
barley wine has a legend in the Granger annals.
Mm-hmm.
My dad brewed his own home brew for a number of years, Ross, which is kind of why I was drawn to it in the end. But he did it old style. I say old style. Um, when he did make his own rhubarb stuff from time to time, whatever he could find in the local vicinity in Luton, in Bedfordshire, he would just throw and make beer. Now the thing was, he got a barley wine
Some
recipe
muscat
from
grapes and
somewhere.
whatnot.
I, I'm going into the early 80s, so there's no such thing as online brewing. You went to a book in a library or spoke to someone and said, "I've got an old recipe you can have a go at, John." And my dad, bless him, in the early 80s, he was a truck driver. He was an 18-wheeler driver. He drove up and down the length and breadth of the UK. And this man could navigate the entire million miles of the UK by pubs. He could say, you could drive up there and go to the Red Lion and turn left and go, and he could do that all the way to Scotland and back. Uh, uh, so he knew pubs and he knew beer,
Hmm.
my old man. And brewing his own, he brewed a barley wine 1 year. And my dad thought he was having a brain hemorrhage. He literally thought he was having a stroke or some kind of bleed in the brain. He had to go to his doctor. He said, "I'm getting the most horrendous hangovers." And my dad had a few hangovers down the years. And the doctor fully established that, "What are you drinking right now, Johnny?" And he got this homebrew, this barley wine that he had made himself. And he said, "Throw it away." He he never touched another drop of that, and immediately those things cleared up overnight. Barley wine has a legend in my family, but it's home brewing
Mm.
legend. And barley wine is
It,
strong. It's strong.
you
It's heady.
I could
It's
I could tell you the legend of my Chapman legacy drinking homemade moonshine in Pictou County, and it's just as much of a warning sign.
it's a
However,
lot stronger than moonshine.
produced and made correctly and well, you you fare
Yeah,
much better.
yeah, I suppose so.
And there's a number of our favorite breweries, and they're making a barley wine. I did a quick check to see if there was anything available at the NSLC. Not one single barley wine can be found in the NSLC.
Of course not.
So we've got
So,
nothing to compare it against.
oh, sadly. Although
Shut up, Dad.
I also did check the video that I did today, and or that I was editing. It was from, oh god, yeah, that's at least a year ago. But we were reviewing we got into the black IPAs because we found
yeah.
them one year, and we drank the Infinity Black IPA
Oh yes,
that you did,
that was one of our IPAs. Yeah, we haven't made that one in a while.
and we really liked that one.
Oh, good.
Just based on, yeah. So Ian and I are self-proclaimed. We used to be the IPA duds. We don't like the traditional IPA. We don't like something that's hoppy for no reason. It's just hoppy, and you sort of come away going, "Ugh, ugh." We still don't like sour beers. Although I tried the cherry sour from that you made years ago with my wife, because my wife loves sours. Ian and I don't, so I have to try it. But the black IPA became something that
I've lost you guys again.
that we found the category. So some different categories now and then of IPA. Double IPA has surprised us more than once. Black IPA became a thing. We found brute IPAs once. That was delightful. And I think rye IPAs are another thing that I found that are very, very tasty. But that's because I don't want to just taste, hey, here, have this one. It's hoppy and it's bitter and nothing else. I think, well, where's
But Ross,
the rest of it.
we've long established now that the reason why we like the doubles and the triples and not the smashes is because there is a malt balance with those versions, rather than just here's a whole ton of hops in your face. It's going to blow your head off with a citrusy, grapefruity thing, which we know we don't like it. So we want that balance of malt, because we are malt. If there is such thing as a hop head, you and I are malt heads, and I hate to say that, but the hops, we can handle the hops. We've come around slowly, and Rebecca has too. We're slowly getting on board with IPAs if there is a balance. Not just a smash.
I like it to being given spicy food. Like friends, I dare you to eat my chili, where you can't even taste. There's no flavor to your chili. It is just fire. And I think, is this cooking? Or are you just trying to find the highest? Are you just throwing 9 scorpion ghost peppers in there and saying, haha, now your face will catch fire? And I feel like the hop thing did that for a short period of time. It was all about how
much you could handle. How you could handle the most hops.
Yeah.
Yes. How much you can handle.
How tough you are.
How tough you are.
This Vit beer smells delicious. I am ready to try this. And again, on the description side, it just says Belgian style Vit beer.
I'll tell you who loves this. The fruit flies.
Yeah.
Because they're all over. We've had such a late fruit fly season this year. We did comment a couple of months ago that where are the fruit flies? They're normally here in abundance.
No, don't say that out loud.
Here. In September, they've gone, pardon the pun, bananas.
If Louis was a great woofer, I wonder if Amber was one of the bad ones.
Wow.
Joking.
I like that.
This
You got a names in there.
It's just a little joke for you.
That was subtle.
Oh my! This has
Yeah.
So fruity.
I think I found my favorite wheat beer / Vit beer. Okay. Well, now we come into, is there a difference between the German style Vit beer or an American style wheat beer?
It's a great question. I think it's all comes down to the yeast too. I don't know, depending on what you use, you're going to get different styles out of it.
The German lager, when I cracked this can for the wit beer, it had the same odor to me.
You think?
Not exactly the same, but it would not exactly the same, but there was a similarity to it.
They're completely different yeasts, so I'm not sure where that would come from, but
I just pulled all over my pants.
I feel like I've finally found because we've tried, I can't even remember how many wheat beers, Vit beers we've had over the years, and they all gloss together with things like a sharp pilsner or a lager oftentimes, and they're just they are literally cloudy. They're the cloudiness that you're expecting. So it's just the visual trap of what a wheat beer or Vit beer is supposed to be doing. But I feel like this is the first one that tastes like what my imagination has slapped on the concept of wheat beer. Where it's...
Hopefully that's a good thing.
It's wheaty. It's the grain. It's the barley. You're drinking a very... It's a sweet... That that sweet taste of a barley. It tastes like standing around in a bakery. And
Mm.
often some of the wheat beers and vit beers we have, they have this little bitter thing on the end that almost feels like a an awkward reminder of, you're drinking beer, and they just really get that in there. But this doesn't bother with that. It just, hey, here's, it's barley fit beer. It's all in there. This is very great. It's very grain oriented. And he said, well, is it a beer? Who cares? This is just nice, smooth barley grain cereal. That bready. Oh, this is
Can I have it in the 473?
this
That's
is
one of my
too
questions.
good. Oh my goodness.
They're all.
Has
Is that a market thing, Erin, or because
For the
they're
small
all in,
can?
yeah, because
We like small cans. It's pretty much
okay,
why. We liked. I like buying the small cans, and I don't. The 500s or the 473s are nice, but it just feels like so much more beer when I go to drink one. And I
okay.
think we picked the small cans
Oh.
because we like small cans.
we also feel like the 473 is more beer.
Yeah,
Which is why we
and
usually get those ones. But
well, you just have to go for the 6-pack, I guess.
Horton Ridge, just very very close to me. They still everything is still in a 355 can, so you're not the
Yeah.
only ones.
No, but
Um,
there's not that many.
Hmm.
there's no such thing. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But there's no such thing as going to buy. Not yet. I mean, I know there is. I know there is across the pond, but you can't go and buy a 12 or a 24 pack in Tallboy, can you?
I think you can.
Six, I think.
Oh, you can.
Some breweries will sell flat of
Oh, you can buy a
small cans.
case.
Tallboy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can of Tallboys, of 473s or 500s.
Well, the closest you can get, Roofhound in Kingston. If you go in, it's a flat rate. It's $60 to go in and get a case of 12, and they have their glass bottles, which are 500 ml and not 473. And I go in and get the 7% Big Brown in a case because I'm saving money by buying it by the case. That's my excuse.
I don't know if when you were in the brewery you noticed that we sell ours by the flat. We sell the cans, 24 cans for $49. That's our best
I saw that on the website though. I did see
Yeah.
that listed there.
So we do have a lot of locals come in and do that up. You can mix it up. It doesn't have to be the same kind of beer.
I don't want to finish this one
Oh.
because then it's gone.
I
I'm
got my
really loving
nose
this.
into both those cans, Erin. You made me, when I was saying that the smell was quite similar, and I've been sniffing the cans ever since you said that, and they are quite different. There was definitely some honeyness to the one, and which you can't explain, and there is about. I know it looks like I'm.
You
huffing
can't
glue
explain
or
it either. Don't put the
Right.
onus on
Yeah,
the brewery.
They
here.
are quite different. But they are quite different.
You mentioned having equipment for winemaking. Do you have anything else on site? A lot of breweries do things like sometimes dip into ciders, they dip into seltzers and things of that sort. Do you have?
Yeah, we do that as well. We make cider. We buy our apple cider from the valley and ferment it on site. And we do seltzers as well. But we make them. So we ferment our bases, like a sugar base, and then add fruits or flavors to it.
Is that just for a patrons kind of catch everybody kind of situation or what?
Yeah. Yeah, and we find gluten-free. A lot of people like gluten-free, so it gives a wider variety of options, especially for people coming in looking for wine, and we can't serve wine, so we're like, well, we have cider or we have seltzers as non-beer options. Yeah, we're trying to appeal to a wider variety of people that are coming to the brewery now, and wanting them to hang around a little bit longer. So we want to make sure everyone's happy there.
I feel you're quite similar. I happen to be a guide, so I host and bring in guests around on the double-decker wine bus here in the Wolfville kind of area. We go in and out of the
Okay.
Gaspereau Valley. But one of the locations, Sea Level, moved their operations to Sheffield Mills, so they're on the farm, where
Okay.
they grow everything right there. And they said, "Hey, can we be on the wine tour?" So we go to a brewery on the wine tour, and you get a lot of glazed looks. But I talked them into it, and it becomes one of the popular spots. They also have. They have 4 ciders, well, 3 or 4 ciders, because there's also a U-Pick next door. So they have all the ingredients are right there, and
Yeah.
they have at least one seltzer as well. But it's much like your establishment. You have a lot of acreage. You have some space, and to spread out and to feel like a more inviting kind of place. Because what I always mock, and it's probably an HRM thing, but I feel like it's not just them. A brewery, when you go to a brewery, what do you expect? You expect stainless steel, you expect white walls, you expect to be this little kind of locked in area, usually an industrial park, and all the gear is there, and you just kind of squeeze in. Not so much this beautiful lush lawn, picnic benches, outdoorsiness of it, and yourselves and Sea Level, Millstone up in Sheffield Mills are about the only two. This Uncle Leo's to a lesser extent a while ago allow
Meander
for that.
River.
Yep.
Meander River, Big Spruce.
Meander River.
Oh, yep. I forgot about Big Spruce. I haven't been because I didn't get to stop there. Where did I stop? I tried, but long story. Everything east of Truro closes at 7 p.m. on a Saturday night, and I have an issue with that. But regardless of that, it feels like it's more inviting than what was maybe kind of some sort of standard. Here's the Olin breweries downtown, and anything outside of HRM, which are all of literally my favorite breweries, are outside of HRM because. And even some of them are kind of still in that, come on, see us, we're in the industrial park. I think Triders is still, or a downtown core. And it feels a little squeezed in, tucked in, bring in the ingredients from far away. But if you have the space to literally grow some food, that makes all the difference.
There's a more inviting appeal to it, perhaps giving you a rustic farm experience.
Because then and again, also offering food. We can't gloss over the delicious wood-fired pizzas and your your expertise.
Is that open? Is that open all year, by the way, Erin? Because
No,
I didn't try the pizzas when I was there.
It's seasonal, so we're winding down. We're just this is our last week where we're kind of open our regular hours, and then we'll just switch to Thursdays for October.
You
and then
didn't order food.
No, I know. No, but following on from that, it wasn't open until 4 o'clock. We got there considerably earlier than that, and we did see the young lady. I hope that's not patronising. I did see the lady that was pitching up to open it, but it was still a good hour or an hour and a half away.
I'll let her know you called her a young lady. We're the same age, so that's great.
Okay, well, there we go. But as it happens, we did then push on into Digby, and I went to a friend that owns the Sydney Street Cafe that you, Erin, that you farmed some of your beer out to, and I believe it was the Gut View Amber. So I'm assuming that a number of the local establishments in Digby and in Bear River do benefit from having your Lazy Bear.
Probably say most, if not all of them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I kind of think
it does really feel like a community oriented. We gloss over this a lot because we're trying to shine the spotlight on the whole province, but the fact of the matter is there's not a lot of people here. So when you have an establishment, you are catering to a very local community.
Yeah, we're really big on community. every week is, I mean, we get tourists and new visitors, but it's a lot of locals, and we pair up with some different community events in the area. We like to support anything we can
Oh, I mean,
in the
I
local
wandered through your
community.
Instagram feed and the local musicians, the events, the
Hmm.
number of things that are constantly happening at Lazy Bear is impressive.
Yeah, so
Isn't it?
it's like kind of a win-win situation. People have a lovely spot to come and enjoy their neighbors and community, and then we like to give back to the community when we can too. So it's kind of a circular relationship we have with the community here.
Yeah. I
Russ, I just went back to the gut view amber. It was the old one. Rebecca finished the new one. She said it was delicious. And I went back to the old one, which was perfectly fine.
At this
All my
point,
beer is gone. All my beer is gone. All three of them. They are quite distinctive. Excuse me. I'm going to have to head on out.
you should.
Kudos to the Vit beer, which I really, really enjoyed. And it's the last one. And normally we can sort of compare like for like towards it. There's no point, of course, because they're three distinctive different beers and they're all your own brewery. It's churlish to say I like them all because of course I do. And Ross, did you say we always we gave Lazy Bear an average of 9.5?
That's what I've got in my numbers. Yep, over seven
Yeah.
previous beers to tonight. Yep.
Yeah, we're a bit rubbish with our scoring, to be honest, Erin. They, we're not
right.
very good at scoring because it's like Rebecca said once. You know, it's the old joke about how would you describe the worst pizza you've ever had? That's pretty good.
No, it's
And that's the
not.
thing about beer.
The worst pizza I've ever had is not very good.
No, it's still pretty good.
Nope.
So you can either even the worst beer you've ever had, you're like, it's still a beer. But I really enjoy going down to Lazy Beer the other day. I enjoyed the drive down there. I enjoyed the experience when I was there. Noah was a lovely guy, and I wish I'd turned up maybe an hour or so later so I could have sampled the pizza.
Yeah, for sure.
I really
Just
enjoyed
another
the beers.
excuse to
Thank
come
you
back.
so much.
Two.
It is. It's only down an hour down the road. Good night. I've got to leave, so I'm out of here. Good night.
He's
Right,
headed for
nice
more
talking to
pizza.
you.
But I definitely want to thank Erin. Thank you so much for being here and being available to talk to us. I know, yeah, all the kids in bed and whatnot, and staying late. We always go late when we talk to brewers because we have so many questions. But thanks, Ian, as well. So we are here every week. No, wait, every week. Yes, every week, a Tuesday at 8 p.m. here, youtube.com/ at Drink NS Dry. You can find our podcast on all the podcasty places, and then some of the excerpts go up on the YouTube page, and also a Facebook thing of whatnot renowned. We're Drink NS Dry when you can find things. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all that kind of whatnot. But thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you again